And welcome back to the podcast as always. Hello, Andreas. How are you today?
I'm mighty fine. How are you today, Lion?
Mighty fine. I'm mighty fine too. And today, as you can hear, our voices are much clearer because we're on an actual podcast setup. Fantastic.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
Today's technology.
Today's technology. I guess it's yesterday's technology, but we're a little bit late to the table. Yeah.
Us boomers.
Us boomers. It's really nice because we're not cutting each other out on when we're recording like via a Discord or anything. When the voice gets lowered when someone else is talking, this is much nicer.
Yeah, it
much
is.
Nicer. It's not as nice to have to look at you when I talk though.
Nah, so. But I mean, you gotta take those losses.
Yes, yep, that's right.
You gotta hold that L. So,
Yeah. So today we're broadcasting from in the same room, and we are on some kind of, I guess, not the most professional thing. It's a little bit flimsy, but it works. The audio is much better. I can hear myself. Andreas can hear himself, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's something called like a Sub-Zero podcast setup, and we have two microphones and stands and everything, and nothing really fit together, but we kind of duct taped everything to the wall.
It's kind of funny when you buy a set and nothing fits together, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, some of this stuff, fair enough, was fitting. It took a little while getting the recording going because there's really no instructions on how to do anything, but luckily we've been doing it.
Yeah, it's more like a pamphlet saying it's not our fault.
Yeah, it's a pamphlet saying, "Thanks, suckers. Have fun.
Thanks for the money."
Yeah, and you know what? This is funny because I was reading this and I was like, I'm sure there are some drivers or some kind of application.
Where's the CD-ROM? Like
the CD-ROM, but so it refers to it. So
what,
basically,
really?
Yeah. So it says here, driver and software installation. I'm not going to read all of it, but basically, go to our website. Or use the enclosed DVD. There was no DVD.
Yeah.
So I don't know why reference it if there isn't any in here. I don't understand.
Maybe the manual guy was having a day off.
I guess. But yeah, and I don't think I've had a DVD drive in my computer forever.
Yeah, no, it's been a long time.
Yep.
And it was also interesting when we were looking at the software because it kind of reminded me of like these old Winamp skins.
Kind of like Winamp. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Well, Winamp was amazing at that time.
Yeah.
Shout out to Winamp.
It was.
Yeah, 20 years ago now.
Yeah.
Right. So that didn't look too good. And how I got a hold of it is also amazing because they don't reference the actual website where you download it, right? So, but you know where you bought it from. But I guess that was just it was just a site where you buy stuff, and I didn't expect. I guess this is just their brand, right? So they're selling their own brand, but among other things.
Yeah.
But there was no when I was browsing the web page that told me, here's software for our stuff. There was nothing. I was just clicking, couldn't find anything. So I did what you usually do nowadays: is you go to Google and then you Google the name and then download. And there's the link, but there's nothing you can click on the web. I assure you, I clicked everything. So finally, I got to install it anyway.
Yeah, that's where future manuals gonna only have like just Google it.
Right, exactly. Why have a manual? Just print it on the thing.
Yeah.
Google, boom,
Yeah.
done. Shout out to Google. Where's my money? But anyway, so we got this started, and it's much nicer. So we're not gonna hopefully you'll listen longer to our podcast without getting your ears tired of our blabbering.
Yeah, hopefully.
But there's still going to be a lot of blabber.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we do, I think.
Yep. So, how was your week?
My week was pretty good, except this horrible weather. But it's pretty good weather to stay inside and game, so...
Yeah, there's no bad weather. There's only good games.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, there you go.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm the dumb one.
There you go. Yeah, people that live up here where we live in Stockholm, Sweden, and Sweden in general, we complain about the weather basically all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cultural thing, for sure.
That's how we start conversations.
Yeah, it's the only way you can have a conversation in this country.
Yep, doesn't work otherwise.
So, yeah, no, so it's been pretty good. I hope you've been well too, Lion.
I have been well. And so now, you did you play any of? I mean, you play a lot of Street Fighter.
Yeah, that's what I've been playing.
You getting better?
Yeah, like there was this new character released actually, named Seth, who came from Street Fighter 4. It was actually the end boss of Street Fighter 4. And the funny thing is, He's like a clone of M. Bison. You know M. Bison, right?
I do.
Yeah, everybody knows M. Bison. And, or he's actually named Vega in Japan, which is,
What?
yeah, because this is really interesting. So you have M. Bison, which is the dictator guy, right? Or the train guy, depending on how you see it. And then you have the Spanish ninja guy with the claw, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's Vega.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the boxer guy.
Mm-hmm.
He is Balrog. But in Japan, where the game is from, the dictator guy is named Vega. Vega with the claw, he's named Balrog. And the boxer guy is named Bison.
This is I've never heard this before in my life.
No. But do you know why they have changed it? When the
Some-
game was translated back in, when was it, like 92 or something?
Uh-huh.
Because the boxer's name is M. Bison. He's from Mike Tyson.
Oh no.
So
Oh.
instead of renaming that one guy, they took all the bosses and just switched around all the 3 names. So now it's really, you know, like when I spent some time in Japan and I was playing with some Japanese players, it was really weird because I keep saying the wrong names all the time.
Yeah.
And they start to talk about like, yeah, this is how the Bison matchup is. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Because I have no idea. But then oh yeah, true. That's that character. So,
Mike Bison.
yeah, Mike Bison. And
Hey,
nah,
there's a whole
yeah.
story about Punch Out and Mike Tyson as well, because you know, they had to swap that out because it was Mike Tyson's Punch Out initially, and then contractual things that they didn't because of his jail time.
Yeah.
They didn't want him on the pack anymore.
I thought it had to do with him biting somebody's ear off.
That could have been. I can't remember exactly the year for when this happened. From what I remember, it was the other thing.
Yeah.
It could have been. Doesn't matter though.
Either way.
Either way.
So anyways,
shout out to Mike Tyson, Mike Bison.
Yeah.
If you're listening,
So
come and tell us what's up.
yeah, and don't bite people's ears off. But so this was the boss character of 4, and he's like a clone for M. Bison, and he's back in 5 now, but he has like a new body, and it's a really interesting character. It's usually a character that download moves from other fighters. So what Seth can do in 5 is the actual V skill, like the mechanic that is unique for every character, is that he can like suck the opponent in, and if you're not blocking, he sucks you in, and then he like grabs your power. So if you're Ryu, for example, you take a Hadouken from him, and you can throw a Hadouken like a fireball. And if you're Guile, you can do like the flash kick somersault thing and things like that. So it's really cool. You can do like a lot of really fun combos and stuff with that.
I see.
Yes, I've been spending a lot of time with that. But then yesterday the bomb dropped, and the bomb is like I was talking about
It's
before.
not the bomb from Hot Ones when they're eating hot ones.
Unfortunately, not, because I mean, this is a pretty good bomb too. But that's the bomb I've actually tried. That's
Oh, you have?
yeah.
Okay.
My dad has it at home.
Did you?
It's pretty hot.
Yeah, people refer to it as it's basically not as Ashton Kutcher said.
Yeah.
Doesn't even, dude. This doesn't even taste like food.
Yeah, no, it's not very tasty. I wouldn't say it's very tasty. It's very hot.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, Intel Open, which is like the esports Olympics kinda, it ties into the Olympics in Japan. They released some information about how the qualifications and stuff will work for the world to partake in it in Tokyo now during the Olympics. And as I said before, it's Street Fighter V and Rocket League, which are the games. No other games. It's those 2 games. And it had some pretty controversial rules, because normally fighting games you play double elimination, you know. So you can lose 2 times, and when you lost 2 times, you're out. So you go in the winner's bracket, you lose, you fall down into the loser's bracket, you're out. There's single elimination. So you have 1 chance, and if you lose, you're out. And that's pretty rough in a fighting game because of the variables. Sometimes, you can get robbed, especially in this game. People will. It's so explosive and offensive that the people will reach into your pocket and grab those wins without you even noticing that you've lost. So it's gonna be rough. So people been complaining about that on Twitter because that's what Twitter is for, right? But that's not the only thing. They also all the qualification is online, and fighting games don't have the best netcode, as I've talked about for like 15 episodes, even though this is like episode 7. So that's a bad thing because you want to be able to perform at your best, and if shit is lagging and you're dropping your combos, that's your ticket to the Olympics gone. Single elimination. You out. You out.
Man, that has to be terrible.
But it doesn't stop there. Because even if you qualify to the actual qualifiers that are in Katowice, is that how you say it, in Poland? Then you go to the venue with your national teams, right? So even there, you play in online lobbies on a LAN event.
Oh, man.
Why? I don't understand. And it's on PC, of course, because it's Intel. So makes sense, Otherwise, tournament standard is PS4, but I can buy that it's on PC. Problem with PC is that everybody uses different controllers, right? Some use the PS4 pad, some use like these arcade stick. I use an arcade stick. Then there are the hit boxes, there are the mix boxes, there are the shit boxes. It's like people have the homebrewed stuff, and it's hell to get that to work on PC. So,
oh man,
I don't know why. So we're going to an offline event to play online. It makes no sense to me. Whatever, but sure, that's how it is.
I mean, usually things don't just happen. There should be a reason why this happens.
I think the reason, and this is just me, just guessing, but I think that this is how you play Rocket League. This is probably how you play like other big esport games, and if you play it like this, they don't have to switch between the games. They don't have to do anything with the setups. So this is the easy solution. And I think Capcom probably just went on and said, we get a spot in the Olympics, so we shouldn't complain. Right.
I see. Well, tech has to
That's
hold
just
up.
me guessing. That's me guessing.
That tech has to hold up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's similar in the sport that I am participating in on the side, which is track and field. I mean, there can be a glitch in a gun, and you go and you get a false start and you're out. That's your chance. I mean, yeah, sort of. I mean, there's going to be several chances, but it could be that it can be a trial for like in the United States they have the Olympic trials where this could happen.
Yeah.
There was a Swedish championships over the 200 meters and other events in Växjö in Sweden this weekend, and there was actually one guy who was the fastest guy to the finals and has the fastest time in Sweden in the 200, and he got the outer lane, which is the best lane when you're running a tight indoor curve, indoor bends, and exactly like a 2/10 of a second before the shot went off, someone closed a door in one of those heating cabinets that they have for the kitchen. One of the big heating cabinets. They close the door, it goes boom, and he goes. And no one, the officials didn't believe him, right? Didn't believe him. So they disqualify him. He gets to run under protest. You can say, can I run under protest? And so they can check it out later. So he did, and he was also first in over the goal line with quite a margin. Yeah. So, and he was talking to him. It's like, well, they have to check it out later. And later the results came out, and it showed him, and they DQ'd him. But later now, he showed on his Instagram, he showed a video from another angle where they actually can see the locker closing when there's a boom going off. Yeah. And he runs. It's just it's one of those things. Like you lose your Swedish championship gold medal, national medal. This is crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That sucks. That sucks.
Which reminded me about something else there. It's like when you're talking about these games, because the World Championships in indoor athletics was supposed to be this year, but because of the coronavirus, they're canceling it and moving it to next year. Yeah. And there's an Olympic year coming up. this summer.
Yeah.
And no one knows how that's going to happen. Imagine preparing for 4 years of your athletic career, and all of a sudden you can't travel, or you're not allowed to travel.
I mean, this is going on for the Pro Tour as well for Street Fighter. I mean, there are tournaments now. There was one in Kuwait this week, I think. That's been canceled. There's several events that starting to get canceled because of the coronavirus. I'm going to Belgium in like 3 weeks or 4 weeks, something like that. And I don't know if that's going to be on, because they will probably shut that down. Yeah. And we got, the event in Sweden in May. I don't know if that's going to happen. So, because these are international events, there are Koreans and Chinese people coming, and, from like the worst areas. Or like now it's been an outbreak in Italy as well, right? It's starting to show up some numbers there. So,
it's crazy. I have my championships in end of July, which is the World Championships for older athletes. And that might be canceled too. That would be terrible. I mean, there's supposed to be 8,000 people coming. And you need to book things.
Yeah. I've already booked all my stuff. Yeah. I mean, I've already booked and paid for it. And I'm cheap, so I don't take, refundable stuff. Yeah. So
even though it's mostly a scam anyway, because it's not like, even though that's the thing about it. And this doesn't pertain to gaming specifically, of course, but it annoys me because even though you're paying for the security of being able to cancel your tickets, you're paying extra. It's not your insurance. You can't do it most of the times with these terrible companies, travel companies, because you need to have a doctor's permit for something, the doctor's permit should be for your insurance, in my opinion. When you're buying it should be covered at any point, because I'm paying extra to be able to cancel my damn tickets. Yeah. I understand it's for the business, it isn't optimal. I understand that, but then again,
but as a consumer,
yes, yes, it's very expensive traveling by air.
Yeah,
so it's annoying. Yeah. Anyway,
no, but yeah. So, anyways, like that's a concern of mine. Maybe I won't be able to compete, and that would suck. At least these are online qualifiers, so I guess there is always the good part to it, The coronavirus can't cancel those
so far.
Yeah, just gotta live with the lag.
Live with the lag.
Yeah, and it's cyber coronavirus coming and messing up our lobbies. Maybe that's why they're lagging. Maybe that's why.
Maybe that's why. Yeah, we already talked about the Y2K.
Yeah,
you know how that went.
Yeah, we keep going back to old topics. It's full circle.
Yeah.
But but anyway, so right now I'm just I need to put my head down and really practice so I can make the Swedish team is what I want to do.
Mm-hmm. How far are you away from that?
Not very, placement wise.
How many people?
It's only 3 people.
3 people
and 1 sub.
Okay.
So we will see.
You're top 5, 10.
I'm top 10 for sure. Top 5-ish.
I would say I would say I'm top 4.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. But in boomer,
we'll find out.
Boomer athleticism.
Yeah, it's like dog years.
Yeah.
So 4 means number 4,000, but I have to tweak the numbers a little bit.
Yeah. No. Like I'm not taking. You're really fast, man. I know.
I'll show you someday.
Yeah.
I still have it installed. So
I mean, the day you beat me in Street Fighter is the day I run away from you on 100 meters.
Yeah, that could. Yeah. Let's leave it at that. Next topic.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna practice. End of discussion. I'm really gonna practice.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Speaking of practice, yeah, you committed to you're gonna start working out a little bit. You're getting a gym card and.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's good. And
now I can't back out if you're gonna put it like officially like this.
Oh, yeah.
That sucks.
Poke Andreas in Wasder about this, but that's good. And that's because I think we briefly pointed it out sometime that the more successful esports teams nowadays, they tend to also do a thorough physical
routine. Like it's part of a lot of the contracts for esport teams.
Yeah, they have because you perform better.
Yeah,
your brain becomes faster. Your neurons fire better, and you're better coordinated, and you recover better. That's the thing, because it comes down to, again, these old this whole debate about being a sport or not, it doesn't, in my mind, really matter too much. But everything comes from the nervous system, and when you practice your physical abilities, your nervous system is going to be much more reactive.
Yeah.
And again, you're going to recover.
It's snappy, right?
Yeah, because every little movement you make is connected by that. So and if you are constantly exposing the nervous system with resistance and volume and intensity, you're going to become better than you already are.
Yeah.
Specifically, again, if you do something where you're going to sit down for a long time and focus, because you release a lot of nervous energy by moving around. So
Yeah.
that's good stuff. It's good after doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of the upsides, and really one of the things that makes me commit is that it will help me perform better at competitions, because it's the same thing. Even though it helps reaction times isn't the most important thing.
It's what you do with the reaction. It's the action
It's
you
the
make.
decision making.
Yes.
The decision making. The one who has the better decision making is always going to beat somebody who is really fast at reactions.
Yeah.
All the time. That's why you still see the same 40-year-old people at the top of every competition. Because even though the young guns are there, they don't have the experience and they can't make the decisions.
Yeah.
And when you're, in shape and stuff, you make better decisions. It's the same thing. If you've been sleeping a lot, you can make better decisions faster. If you don't have any sleeps, you can hardly, decide what to do for breakfast almost.
For sure.
So it's
also a maximum. There's a threshold for the human biology, anatomy, the brain to make an action out of a reaction to things. And it's around 1/10 of a second. You can react faster at times. There have been examples of that. It depends if it's audible, visual, sensory, whatever it is. But it's around that number. So it's much more what happens when the brain reacts to something. What do you do with it? And as you say, then that's where the experience comes in. You have a certain a couple of things you do that will benefit you in your gaming, in your professional gaming. Like I will take this path, which is more likely because it's been working before. I built the nerve ends out to that being the correct thing. It's been rewarding me back when I'm doing it, and I'm winning more you're building in that system.
Yeah, and something, because I've been coaching a lot of newer players a lot, or intermediate players. And one question I often get is how do you react to this? Because there's a lot of fast moves in Street Fighter. So for example, some of the dashes, if you want to stop someone from dashing in, the fastest dash is 15 frames. And then you add 4 frames of input delay because of online or whatever,
Do you know how many frames per second there is in that game?
60.
So it's 60, so 15 frames.
1/4 of a second.
Yeah, so it's 15 hundredths of a second.
Yeah.
Doing the math, right? 15 frames, if it's 60 frames per second.
Yeah, it's 1/4 of a second.
Yeah, so 2/10 of a second.
Yeah.
No. 2.5.
3.3.
Wasn't it a
fourth?
No, you say fourth?
Yeah.
Fourth is
2.5 of a second. Yeah.
2.5. Yeah.
And
we're obviously math wizards here.
Yeah,
but
obviously. But then there is also,
Yeah. So if you want to know how fast that is, that's about how fast that is.
Yeah, it's really fast. But there is some leverage to it because, once they dash, they actually have to press a button, and that button has to start up itself. So the fastest moves are 3 frames. So the fastest thing that can happen is 15 frame dash plus 3 frames, so that's 18 frames that the moves become active.
So you perform the action and then it's 15 frames or the X frames.
Yeah,
so you have that time.
So
when that's happening.
dash into a light punch, which is the fastest. That's a total of 18 frames before the move becomes active. So you have to press your button within those 17 frames. That's happening.
Yeah.
But that's the fastest dash, and that's really, really hard. And people ask me, how do you do this? And it's because the more you practice, that's one thing, you become more comfortable in situations, right? And the more you've been in these different situations, the easier it is to properly react to it, because it's partly muscle memory as well. Because you don't think, you just act. And there is a lot of intuition going to it as well.
Yeah.
And intuition you build with with instinct plus experience, pretty much.
Yeah, and so that's an interesting thing because this is the same. It's the same reason why animals don't pull muscles by exertion. Now it has happened at some
I
point.
have never asked myself that, but now that you say it, yeah, that might be true.
And I'll tell you why though, because but there are studies on this, and because I like biomechanics, so I study biomechanics as well,
Yeah.
and I've done so for many years and decades. But like I said, it has of course happened at some point with an animal that'll be exhausted or cramping up because of lack of hydration. And stuff.
Yeah, I mean, for example, when the human hunters are, running theirs to death, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, sure, yeah. So it can happen, yeah. But when in their normal day of life,
Yeah.
when they're hunting or running away from prey,
Yeah.
they don't pull muscles. They might fall and break a knee or a leg or whatever, antler or something. And the reason is because they don't have conscious thought.
Yeah.
Human beings have conscious thought, which gets in the way of the natural function of the nervous system. The human thought, conscious human thought, is slower than the reaction of the nervous system. The nervous system goes from the brainstem and out into the muscle into something called myosin, and activates myosin and ATP and creatine. And go and Google that if you want to learn more about it, because they
Just
hear all day
Google
talk
it.
about it. Just Google it. And it sparks a contraction in the muscle. The muscle contracts, and then it relaxes, and then it contracts again, and there's a cycle to this. And again, don't have to go through everything. So when we're thinking about doing things, that process slows down again, because we need to make a choice from either it's an array of things. Array means several different ways to go, or it's an A/B choice. Regardless, it's slower than just doing it, and making that window of time quicker and shorter, we become better athletes or gamers or esporters.
Yeah.
And that takes a lot of repetition to get that out of the way. It's the same in athletics. That's why human beings pull muscles, because when we think about things, we're stressed, or try to do something or say lift something or run faster than we're supposed to when we exert too much force.
The body says no, but the mind says yes.
Yeah, we're forcing the muscles to work harder, but we're also not allowing it to relax fast enough. So then it breaks because it rips.
Okay,
Because the nervous system is strong enough that it's a survival thing.
Yeah.
So when we end up under something, a big rock or something, we're supposed to be able to exert more force than our muscles can handle, so we can survive.
Yeah.
Because it's better to pull a muscle and then survive than to lay there.
Yeah.
And again,
that's why
this is
you hear
general.
all the time, but sometimes you hear of these heroic mother stories, right?
For sure, yeah. And that's
Saving
going to hurt
babies,
for a few days after.
Yeah.
So that's the reason. So it's pretty interesting. It's the same thing when it comes to high-level competition. High-level competition, like you're going up against someone that's super good, and a lot of it's going to be unconscious decisions that's been worked into your nervous system and your micro management of your limbs for over a certain amount of time.
Yeah, for sure. That makes a lot of sense when you say it. And also, when you work, a lot of stuff is just muscle memory, right? If they jump, I know exactly what to press and in what angle, things like that, to interrupt their jumps, for example. And having that in my muscle memory makes me able to think of what I should do, like think of my approach to my game plan, what my opponent is doing, and plan ahead.
Yeah, because there is always conscious thought. So what you're doing is removing one of the parts to make it take a shorter amount of time, so you can do the next thing. You can front load that in the pipeline for the next thing to happen. Also, of course, there's something else happening when you're playing a fighting game as such. I don't play that type of fighting game, but I play a lot like UFC, because I like boxing and martial arts. So I like play the UFC games and such, and boxing games. I love that. Because you're also taking in the strategies live of the other person. So you're downloading the data of that person's behavior.
Yeah.
And that's also adaptability. So you have your template of things you can do. You have your drawer of things you can do. And then he has a character. That's one of the folders you pick out of. And then you have his type of gameplay that he does, or type of style of play. Yeah. And then you create a formula for beating that. And hopefully when you're winning more than you're losing, all these things fall into place.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Then there's another point I like a lot. For example, when I played a lot of FIFA online, there's psychological factors too when you're playing against someone, especially when at that point playing online, because you could feel when the other person started to get frustrated when they start
Yeah.
throwing away balls or just sprinting, and then you let those replays just
Yeah.
go forever. Now they removed a lot of that, but and you put extra pressure on it. Or hey, you take for example, if that guy's starting to come back, then you pause the game and you take one of your
Substitutes. Yeah.
yeah, and you take a little bit extra time to break it up, so
Yeah.
you can start playing.
Yeah, I
like
mean
that.
they do that even in real football, right?
They do it in real football and in boxing. There's a lot, so that you take a timeout, whatever. If you have a sport that does a timeout, you can do that.
Yeah. In Street Fighter, you have teabagging.
There's that stuff.
That's the
Hey.
psychological warfare.
Just look at the
Galore.
top level boxers in the world, like a Tyson Fury. If you guys know who Tyson Fury, world heavyweight champion in boxing.
I don't.
No, but I mean, it's Conor McGregor is a bigger name for most
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
So there's mind games going on way before, and knowing how to do that, everything that gives you an advantage, because no one's gonna fault you when you win. Morals is just in our minds. There are lines that you shouldn't cross in my mind, of course, but if you can get someone out of their space just a little bit, and you have an extra percentage of advantage, that's a little thing that's gonna differ in the. There's a lot of that going on in my sport. All the time, most of us guys know each other already, so you kind of know how to push people's buttons. So there's just different ways you can psychologically and emotionally affect people, which is again something super interesting. It's part of sports psychology.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I mean, mind games is extremely important in Street Fighter, for example. But usually that's more like conditioning your opponent to do something you want to do.
Exactly.
But if you can throw them off balance by doing, it's like small minor things. You can see the there is a move called the shimmy. And a shimmy is that you walk into someone's throw range, and to break a throw in Street Fighter, you have to press throw as well, right? So what you do is you walk into their throw range, and then you walk out. And that means that they whiff the throw, so they are grabbing air, and they're open for an attack.
And then
right?
you jump in.
No, there's not enough time to jump in.
No, and I'm guessing that you know,
But-
you make him, you feint him to do something.
Yeah,
and
you feint
can-
something,
and you know
and-
what's going to happen.
yeah.
and he
But-
reacts on it.
One of the world's best player named Punk from the US. He's extremely good at he used to be almost like a troll in the levels of how he played. There was a lot of teabagging and stuff going on. Like he would teabag all the big names when he was up and coming. So he would stun them, and then he would sit there and teabag and let them recover without killing them. And something that he can do is that he can go into your throw range and out 3 times. Back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. And you stand there like an idiot, up, 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 just whiffing throws.
Yeah.
And then it's those kind of stuff. After that, it's really hard to recover after something like that.
Oh yeah.
And it's also on yourself. For example, I know I was in a position where I had to play on stream. There were 18,000 people watching or something. And I completely blacked out. And I was dropping my game-winning combos, everything. And I couldn't recover after that. And I was pretty new to playing and competing then. So it's really hard to recover from something like that. And you can force that on your opponent by doing bad moves.
For sure.
Or,
Yeah.
try to tilt them more or less. So.
Oh yeah. No, and one can speculate, but since I'm a fan of boxing,
Yeah.
you can see these things when people are feigning, and that way back from the first videos on boxing, and there is from almost pre-century, 1900th century, that there are feints being thrown. So you not only fool your opponent to do something and waste energy, but you can also gauge his game.
Yeah.
Her game. What's going to happen if I throw my shoulder a little bit?
Yeah.
Which way?
I
is
mean,
he
it's
going?
all information, right?
It's all information. You're downloading that information, which when I play the UFC games, do a lot. That's one of my favorite things. Of course, I'm not that good, so I can beat some of the top players, but you can get people out of there, especially the people that play kind of casually. They fall into it every time. And because they think you're gonna go into that range, and they start throwing big things. That's even better, because when you have a stamina meter, that if you can get people to, especially in the early in the early rounds, you can take a little bit more damage, right? So you let them hit you a little bit with the big things, and you allow them. But next time, because you know how they're going to do it, next time you slip or you dodge or you catch or whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
So when he starts doing it, they're gonna you program them to think that they're gonna hit you every time with that move, which is a high cost move, and then they're wasting all their energy round 2, round 3, or if a championship match, nothing left in the last ones, and then you can just have fun with them.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fun.
And it's also interesting. I usually say when it comes to Street Fighter, and I'm sure it's true for a lot of like also boxing or boxing games in general. It's you can get to know the person you're playing against just by playing him.
Mm-hmm.
So I can go online and play like a ranked match against a random person, and I can kind of understand what kind of person I'm dealing with just by how the person plays. So it's always like you're having a conversation with someone while playing. So it's and once you get to that level of like fighting games, that's when they start to shine. That's when they are at their best, and you're like, I didn't even know games could be like this.
Meta levels.
Yeah.
All right, amazing, cool stuff. You know, I want to talk about something that I've been more and more interested in, and that's Cyberpunk 2077.
I'm really interested in that game too. It looks amazing. I just want to play it. I know it was delayed. That was the interesting thing. I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off, but
go ahead.
So the remake of Final Fantasy VII was delayed, right?
Right.
Yeah, and it was delayed to the release week of Cyberpunk.
Ooh.
And then
Your life is over.
yeah, we were like, okay, whose wallet's gonna survive this, and who has enough time? Who can be sick that long from work, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So we obviously had a problem. But one day after, it was solved by Cyberpunk becoming delayed to
Right.
September, right? I think it is now.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's the thing. So not being the biggest Final Fantasy fan, I thought that was moved to the current delay date of Cyberpunk, but obviously not. And it looks like so. Just rolling back the clock a little bit, it's a couple of years ago, and we saw those first teaser images and videos of Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
And some games just seem to hit it off with the community straight off the bat. It's like people connect to it.
Yeah.
There was also talk about that the specific image wasn't well received in certain areas of the community, but then since then they've kind of recovered well and made everything positive. And it's also part of like a little bit of the Stranger Things synthwave 80s revival too, because it's a romanticized older man. I mean, it's like the cyberpunk stuff is late. Like depends again. If it's literature, then it's even earlier. Then it's like mid 80s.
Yeah.
Even earlier, maybe. You know, it's what's the movie I'm looking for? Blade Runner. Like Blade Runner. It's like the original cyberpunk-ish movie.
Yeah.
You're dealing with AI and there's ethical and moral questions about humanity and what humanity is.
Yeah.
And look into the future where it's very mechanized. It's usually run by shadow governments, and there's corporations running things, and AI and robots and all these things. And lots of the old...
You had Deus Ex as well.
Yep.
Game-wise,
there's lots of those. And there's lots of novels. What is it, dude? What's the name of it? Electric. I can't remember. Oh yeah, this robots dream of. No, it's not robots. It's what's the word I'm looking for here? Not robot.
Android.
Android. Yeah.
Cyborg.
Do androids dream of electric sheep? It's a thing. So it's one of those philosophical questions.
Yeah.
You know, would they dream about? But it's a fun little title. I can't remember the writer. He's a very well-known writer.
My Android can hardly install an app, so I don't think so.
Ooh, burn! Holy shit! Came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's
Good
one.
shit.
This one is for you at the office, you Android lover. You know who you are.
There you go.
Yeah, continue.
So I want to wrap this up a little bit. But there was lots of those that came out around those days. There was also some virtual reality movies that came out. Lawnmower Man is one of those, which is a pretty good. It still kind of holds up actually, because it's a pretty well written film, right? So, and all of these things are back again with synthwave and 80s romanticizing. So Cyberpunk falls right into these last 5 years, and now it's kind of even though maybe it peaked already. So they're tying into that, and it's also open world, and it's
But I just want to add as well
Go ahead.
that there is a lot of faith in the developers as well.
Yes, because it's the Witcher.
Yeah, the Witcher developers,
Yeah.
CD Red.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who are good at making narratives in open world games. We
Yeah.
talked about Witcher already, and I'm much more of a sci-fi guy than a fantasy guy. Or also said that. So
Yeah.
hopefully,
Me too.
yeah, there you go. So they're nailing down these things that are work well together. Obviously, open world, and you have this narrative, and it's a pretty cool world. I wasn't too excited with when the trailer came out, though. To me, it felt a little bit too comic book style. I wanted to be darker.
Yeah.
So maybe because I thought that was what it's supposed to be. We don't really know yet. We'll see if there's another trailer coming out, or if they opted to take that route to open up the target audience a little bit. Maybe. I just want to mention one more thing though, because from the backstory of this, which they was super smart. There's an old movie called Johnny Mnemonic.
Okay.
Mnemonic. Yeah, which is part of an original Cyberpunk trilogy by the same writer who wrote all those things, like the Android Digital Sheep, blah blah, Electric Sheep, blah blah blah, and so hard to say. Yeah, but it's
Parappa the Rapper.
blah blah blah. Well, hey, that's an amazing game, by the way.
It is.
Yeah. Thanks for reminding me. But so it's a 1995 cyberpunk action thriller film by Robert Longo in his directorial debut. So, and it had it's from the same it's from the same novel by the writer William Gibson. He was the guy that I was referencing before.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a man with a cybernetic brain implant designed to store information. Then this is 95.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a long time ago. The cool part is it stars Keanu Reeves, who, of course,
What's in the
Namco
Matrix?
Bandai, who is the publisher of this. Yeah, he's of course in the Matrix. Either those guys or CD Projekt Red developers are clever enough to know that there's a connection, and they utilize Keanu Reeves for their stage show,
Yeah.
which is a super big meme, or was at least a month ago, of "You're awesome," that thing. Yeah, I think you guys know.
No,
what I'm
you're
talking-
amazing.
You're amazing.
Yeah.
You're amazing.
Yeah,
You're awesome. You're amazing.
He had a.
You're amazing.
Yeah.
You're amazing.
Yeah, because somebody was screaming from the audience like,
Mhm.
"You're amazing!" And he's like, "No, you are amazing." He was doing
You're amazing.
great job at E3. It was
Yeah.
at E3, I think. Yeah.
So that kind of wraps that whole bag up, that whole story up. That these old movies based on these cyberpunk novels,
Yeah.
one of them starring Keanu Reeves, also of course Matrix, which is also in that genre. It's just a later '90s movie, so it was more like action and more computer-ish. Even Cyberpunk is always kind of like that, but it's I'd say it's still part of the same
Yeah.
brand.
Yeah, it has the same feel to
Mhm.
it.
Yeah, '90s stuff.
It's like dark as well.
It's dark. It's dystopia.
Yeah.
And I like those movies. Okay, yeah, but so anyway, yeah, so that's pretty cool. So they're picking that up. Now the game itself, open world, you're gonna play a main character, and
I want to share a short anecdote in between.
yeah,
Because we don't talk about Matrix that much. And whenever I hear of Matrix, I always remember when I was getting my tattoo. Because I was getting a tattoo from a Russian guy. And we were watching The Matrix in Russian as I was getting the tattoo
no way.
on VHS. And I was just amazed at how they could watch this shit. Because it was just a Russian dubbing from one guy who made all the voices, and they didn't even remove the voices
no.
from the original movie. It was
Yes,
just
it's
dubbed
right over. It's right
straight
over.
over. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like Matrixa, and then they started Trinity, and she was also talking with this like really Russian bad boy voice, because it was the same guy who did all the voices. He didn't even try to change it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was all. I'm always thinking of that.
So is it a good memory
Memory?
for you, or a bad memory?
It's a mixed memory. I mean, it's
Mixed
definitely my worst Matrix memory.
Yep. Speaking of which, by the way, the Matrix, there's some leaked footage from filming Matrix 4 now. Have you seen it?
No.
It's Keanu Reeves on the back of a motorcycle of Trinity. I can't remember the actor's name. I almost did there, but I can't remember. Yeah. But they're writing there, and so it's like a side shot, and he looks more like John Wick in that. But yeah, so excited about that. It's
I wonder why.
Sure, yeah, I mean, it's a lot older now. Yeah. Actually, I named my son after Neo, actually, because I like that. I mean, today for people that are not.
Which pill did you take?
That's a secret question.
Okay. Sorry.
We haven't taken the pills yet.
Shit.
The Matrix is a veil that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. Do you like when I speak close to the microphone?
Yeah, it's very sensitive, but please, could you not create an illusion with better, where the mics actually fit the stands?
Yeah. We'll post a picture of that.
Yeah.
Lawrence Fishburne. It's cool in that movie. But anyway, moving on. So that's pretty exciting. So back to the game.
Yep.
It seems to have a good following in the gaming community. It seems to be like one of those games that no one really speaks bad about it. Either people don't care or they speak well about it.
I have heard something bad about it.
I mean, yeah.
I've been on the Twitter. On the Twitter. Yeah.
Oh, you got
on Twitter.
Bad stuff.
Yeah. No, but the only thing that's bad that I've heard is, why is it in third person?
Oh yeah. Wasn't it so that it wasn't supposed to be in it, but that was also a creative decision?
Yeah, I don't know exactly why, but
I think it was a creative decision.
Yeah.
So us airheads sitting here in the studio, of course, we kind of don't know the depth of everything.
No, this is what happened in the meeting.
No. Exactly. Yeah. So, hey, let us know what you think. First person, third person. Maybe they're doing maybe they want a GTA kind of thing, or maybe they just feel that the story is better told from there.
The Witcher is in third person. Maybe they're just better at making third person stuff, right?
I know from being in game studios previously that there are also technical things because you have to place the camera. There has to be an interaction with the camera that can be cumbersome. If you have a big game, then you have to consider it every time that the player's face is going to be here with the camera, and then you need to interact with it. In certain cases, it's easier if you have a character that the developer can look at on the screen when they're doing things. So there might have been certain things in cutscenes that just doesn't work out. We don't have time. Let's do a third person.
Yeah,
I'm generalizing quite a bit here. It can also be the opposite, because you have to make animations if you show a character, which you don't usually have to do a lot of when you just have the camera as coming out of the eyes of the character.
What do you prefer?
Definitely depends on the game. If there's a game where I'm interacting physically with other characters, such as fighting, then I want a third-person view. Like if there's you're punching stuff.
Well, we're talking RPGs.
If I could take both, depending. I mean, some games today are kind of a mix of action RPG, and then both kind of works depending on how the story is told.
That's a diplomatic answer. Take a stance.
God damn it. How about a microphone stand? That's kind of flimsy.
Yeah.
But this.
I'm going home now.
No, but okay. If I have to pick from the games that I've played so far, then a third person, I guess. But if it's a shooter game, I'll take first person anytime. Yeah, no doubt. But something like Mass Effect, third person.
Because I was thinking of Mass Effect, and that's one of my favorite game series of all time, right? We don't talk about Andromeda, and there it's third person, and I was thinking to myself, like, does it break immersion if it's third person? Because I was playing, for example, what's the name of the space game I was talking about before?
Outlander.
Now the Outer Worlds. That is first person, and Fallout games is first person, and those I've never felt as connected in. But I think it's more of how the story is told, I guess. Because
you're being diplomatic and you're telling me that I can't take a stand.
Yeah, no. My stance is that third person is the way to go. So I'm happy that Cyberpunk is in third person.
Exciting. Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure. It's going to be cool to follow. Let's keep a lookout and see what happens. Tell us what you think about it. If you're going to be buying it, which platform we're talking about. I mean, there's no.
We're all playing on Stadia.
Yeah. I was almost going to go into a rant about Stadia, but we already did. So
I think Stadia talked enough about Stadia.
yeah, I'll still say though, even though we're skipping topics, is that if you have a family, if you're a family that have kids, and it's so easy to have a service and a controller.
Yeah,
So just put it in the head. They don't have to plug anything in. They don't have to this or that. You can just start it, and they can pick games and whatever.
Yeah,
but anyway,
sure.
Yeah. But so Cyberpunk, I think, is probably going to be a hit, and let's see what happens with it. I just want to do a quick thing. I think we're going to go further into that the next time because it's something that's just been revealed, and that's Outriders. And it also, this is going to be one of those things I think that's going to be amazing or really bad because it's picking things that I like. It's sci-fi, it's co-op, it's action RPG,
Yeah,
and story-based.
yeah,
So it kind of a little bit looks like Gears of War, which is not a bad thing. But it can also be one of those lobby shooters. I don't like those when you're in a lobby and you go out and then you grind stuff and then you come back and then you pick the same map to get a 0.05 upgrade or a new skin. So I don't like that. But I'm gonna keep a big eye on it.
Yeah,
because I like that topic. I like it.
Yep.
Yeah. And there's just released it's a cinematic trailer, so you don't see any gameplay. But we're gonna keep an eye on it. We're gonna talk more about it in the coming weeks, I guess, when we're podcasts.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, speaking of failures and etc.
Yeah.
Like we talked about Anthem.
yeah.
Yes, we talked about Anthem last time. So I caught something on their Instagram because they update it like once every month or so. So so what they did was they have a 1 year anniversary of something.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it's even the release now. I just feel like it's 1 year ago. I didn't even read it.
No, yeah, it might be 1 year since
feels
it
like
came
it's
out.
more.
Yeah, but I think it came out around the time I moved back to Sweden.
Yeah. Okay. So 1 year.
It's been about 1 year.
Sure. So and so what they're this poor person who's sitting there and updating their social media because it's like to celebrate we're gonna gift you a something.
Yeah.
And it's skin. It's a skin, one skin per class.
Yeah.
But you have to log in to get it. If you don't log in, you don't get it.
Yeah.
And in my mind, that says two things. One, it's not a gift if you force someone to do something to do it.
Yeah.
And number two, they want numbers now. So they want to see login numbers go up. We have this many active users. I mean, bless their hearts. It doesn't look right. And I can feel that this poor social media person who's usually a community manager, us guys,
we know.
Us people that work in social media, that understands the community, knows that people are going to get that right off the bat, or they're going to complain about it's just a skin, fix this game, where's my mom, blah, blah, blah. I'm not playing this, I hate you. All these, talking about an array of feelings, usually towards the negative. Yeah. No one's going to be like, amazing, are you giving us a free skin, woohoo.
Yeah,
right?
And I mean, the people who are hyped, they're going to log in and try to get it right.
The few, you know? And so I can see this
they're
person.
They're not vocal, is my point.
Yeah, very true. But the meeting that a marketing person up there who's probably not very connected with the community sees that we have to go out on our social media channels.
Yeah.
Like it, you know, you know the TV channel called Instagrams? You need to put something up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, made the kids turn on their TVs, that turn to the Instagram channel, you know, and broadcast that we're gonna give them, and the community person goes like,
let
"Oh
me
my
know
God, can someone else do it this time, please?"
Let me know a single community manager or a social media person who has not had just exactly that conversation going, because everyone has had that.
Yes, it might happen now and then in this company too.
Just post something and everything will just explode.
Go and post something.
Yeah.
But we're giving them a skin. Skin. It's yellow. People love yellow. Kids love yellow.
Yeah.
On their Instagram TVs. And the community manager go like, "Fuck my life."
Yeah. Oh.
It's amazing. But anyway,
I wish the game well though. I hope they somehow saved that ship.
Yeah, but it has happened before that they can turn things around. So hopefully that will do. I mean, hey, we're putting words out about it here. I'm sure one or two people are gonna go and check it out.
I mean, if nothing else, think of Final Fantasy 14. It was probably the worst MMORPG ever created. That Thomas talked about it last week. Yeah, last episode, right? And it turned around to become one of the most popular of all time. So they saved that ship somehow.
Yeah, it works. You need a lot of smart decisions, though, and you need something that's fun. You can fix your stuff around. If it isn't fun, then you're done. Then it's done anyway. Yeah. So, hey, go check out those skins, guys. Let us know from your Instagram TV channels what's up with that.
Yeah, which one is the best and why is it the yellow one?
Yeah. Are you gonna log in and get it? Right. So tell us what that's about.
It's a gift.
Now, so we're getting close to the hour, and I know it's hard for anybody to process more of this banter, so we're gonna kind of wrap it up, and we're gonna move on, and we're gonna be seeing you guys next time. And so we always, we talk a little bit about what's going on with Wasder.gg, and we're fixing some cool things, and we're cooking up some cool stuff. The dev team and UI and everything's got some cool things going with the looking for group and the new go live discovery of streams. Also, what's coming up is you're going to be able to get some cool things if you invite some friends. Go check that out on your Instagram TV channels, people. And also something extra cool for everybody that owns like a Razer Chroma, that we're connecting Razer Chroma. We talked to the cool guys over at Razer, and we're making them a little special presenty thing where we're going to be able to connect your Chroma stuff and have it do things that when your viewers also have Chroma with our extension, which you can find under scheduling, and which is a cool thing at all. I mean, it's just
on Twitch.
It's on Twitch. Yeah, it's a Twitch extension where you can schedule your streams, automate your go live, which will push over a lot of your social TV media channels.
Yeah,
and we're soon we got that it's gonna be able to update your Discord as well. So that's really nice.
Cool stuff coming.
Yeah, come check it out and say hi to us, right? Before everything explodes and there's no more room anymore.
If you're lucky, maybe I will get you a skin.
Oof, a Wasder skin.
A Wazzy skin.
Wazzy, our logo person.
Yeah.
Wazzy Watson.
Yeah. Maybe I will make a lion skin for Wazzy. That would be something.
Okay, that's that podcast episode number 7 and of Gamebread, which we actually haven't mentioned. This podcast is named Gamebread. It's hot off the toaster of lots of banter. And Nazi stuff.
That's one big sandwich.
It's a big sandwich of nonsense and Andreas anecdotes.
Yeah.
But anyway, next time maybe we'll have a guest or two. So would you want to be a guest? Let us know. So that's it. Andreas, any final words from you?
No.
Okay. Have a nice weekend, guys, and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.